Hello everyone and welcome to the EL112 coursebook. In this video, we're going to be going over the first part of Unit 1 and we're going to be talking about education. So before we start, I have a few questions that I would like you to pause the video and think about, give me your own answers and opinions, and then I'll give you my stance and my views for these questions, and then we'll move on to the exercises. So what do you think are the 5 most important features of a good school or college? And who is more responsible for your learning, you or your teachers? Okay, so I assume you paused the video and gave some brief ideas. I would say the 5 most important features of a good school or college are as follows. One is how the teachers interact. That is a very important feature because if you have teachers that don't want to do their jobs or they're not very good at what they're doing, it kind of creates an environment that is not fit for optimal learning. So that, in my case, is number one. Number two is a good facility. I mean, it could even be online. Just because I said facility doesn't mean it has to be physical. However, it does have to be set up correctly. Things should be fairly easily accessible for students and teachers alike. If you have something that is too complicated, it makes it harder to have access to the things that you want to study. It makes it harder to actually begin studying, and as a teacher, it makes it harder to prepare material. So I would say a very important feature is having a place or a facility, whether physical or online, that is easy and interactive. After that, I would probably say something like variety. Having a variety of places and subjects, or in the case of college, different majors that you could go to with different subjects, that adds to more people. I mean, if you have averages and people that would like to learn more stuff, that is definitely something that should be included, because not everyone wants to study medicine, not everyone wants to study English, for example, not everyone wants to work in tech. So having that variety helps students study what they actually like, and it's been shown that when people study what they actually like, they tend to struggle much less, or at least tolerate it a lot better. I know this from experience as well. So yeah. Um, we need 2 more features that would be considered very important. I would say a good support system. Having teachers that care about how the students are doing and how they're going through with their assignments and projects and just their progress throughout the subject is a big deal, because it sparks your motivation as a student and it shows that the teachers actually care about the topics and they care about you. Now, I know this is not always feasible and it's hard to basically hold each student's hands during subjects. However, I do feel like that bit of extra motivation helps some of the weaker students, especially if it's a particular subject that is like quite hard. One last feature for me personally would probably be something like support services. I mean, we've focused a lot on teachers and students and their relationship and the facilities, but I think one good thing to add is student services, and how if students have issues outside of subjects, perhaps it's something with access, emails, technical stuff, or just stuff related to uni in general, or not uni, college or school, would probably be student services somewhere, someone that can help them with these issues as well. So I would say that's ranked number 5 for me. Okay, now let's go to the second question. Who is more responsible for your learning, you or your teachers? Again, here there's no right or wrong answers, you guys. If you had a different answer than mine, that's completely fine. It's a matter of opinions. For me personally, I would say you are responsible for your own learning, especially if you're in college. I feel like you're at that age where you know what's good for you and you know what's not. You can choose to not study, but just be aware of the consequences of that and know that if you study, again, know what you can realistically accomplish and cannot. So I would say definitely you. It helps to have teachers that care about you and your learning, but again, people are different, teachers are different. Some teachers care a lot, which becomes almost suffocating. Some teachers don't care at all. And some teachers, or should I say, most teachers, are somewhere in between. So, again, it's a good thing to have, but you should be that main pillar that is responsible for your own learning. All right, now let's go to the exercises. Here we have 1A, effective teaching and learning. Before we do anything, what I would like you guys to do is read the headline for these 4 different articles. Here you go. We have The Classroom of the Future, Teaching 21st Century Skills, No Technology Please, Our Mums and Dads Work for Google, Solar Mamas at the Barefoot College. Okay, I would like you to pause the video and think about these 3 questions. Okay, now that you've probably taken a look at the text and perhaps answered the questions, let's go over them one by one. So, which of these articles, based on the headline and maybe a few lines, is in favor of educational technology? I would say educational technology is focused on or in favor in this particular text right here. Not be in favor of technology in the classroom. If we go down here, it literally says it in the headline. No technology, please. Our moms and dads work for Google. So again, the text is not in favor of technology in the classroom. And which of these texts do not even mention educational technology at all? I would say definitely D, Barefoot College. There's no mention of technology whatsoever. And the teaching 21st century skills, again, it doesn't really have something that is related to technology. We have talks about the future in society, but not something specific about educational technology. Okay? So now let's go to the next page, see what we have here. Let's take a look. All right, so here we have the same 4 articles that we just saw, but we also have 4 extra paragraphs. And each paragraph from these 4 paragraphs is actually related to a single article. For example, 1 could be related to D, 2 could be related to B, 3 could be a part of A as well. So each paragraph here is a continuation from an article above. So what I want you to do is pause the video one more time, and I would like you to read the paragraphs first. I'm actually going to zoom out a little bit so you guys can get the whole thing. Go through these, and I want you to read the articles again and number them based on what you see fit. So for example, 1 could be a continuation for D, or 1 could be a continuation for B. Okay? So do that, and then we'll go over them together. All right, so I'm going to assume you've taken a look at stuff and numbered them. Let's go over them one by one. I'm actually going to zoom in now so that I can actually see. Let's start with this one. This is one of about 160 well-dressed schools in the United States. Establishments whose teachers believe that younger pupils learn best through physically active or creative tasks. Their methodology includes teaching knitting and learning poetry, while throwing and catching items in a group. When pupils want to look up information, they do it in an encyclopedia, not on the internet. Just upon first glance, I would say this is C, because this is clearly against technology being used. So their school is located near Silicon Valley, and both their parents work for Google, yada, yada, yada. And then this is the second paragraph for this article. Okay, so 1 is C. Let's take a look at number 2. Those of us who work in traditional schools set our students tasks and make them sit exams which involve finding and supplying right answers. This way, we don't provide opportunities for our students to explore alternative ways to solve problems and risk creating a society of unimaginative thinkers. But what if we posed questions that had more than one correct answer? Okay, based on this, I would say this is B because it's talking about the different skills. So let's put that here. If you guys see, four key elements make up 21st century skills: collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and problem solving, and creativity and innovation. Education should embrace these skills as they are the ones that will be needed for the society of the future. And then if you continue with this article to the second paragraph, this is what you get. Those of us who work in traditional schools set our students tasks and make them sit exams, which involve finding and supplying right answers. Again, these are skills. Okay, so that was number 2. Let's go to number 3. Here, teachers do not instruct the pupils. Computer programs do that. Computer programs do that. So right away, this is technology focused. So that gives me a very important clue. Instead, their role is to be mentors. They encourage the students to find out answers for themselves and, if necessary, provide guidance in where to look for those answers. Pupils learn at their own pace and motivation is high. Right away, I know this is going to be A because if you guys remember, we said A is the article that is in favor of technology. Here you go. The classrooms are packed with digital technology and software to meet all the pupils' basic needs. The objective is not so much to teach the digital literacy from an early age, but to transform the entire nature of the classroom. So this is A. Let's go to 4. The college has trained women from small villages in 68 countries as far apart as Togo and Myanmar. All the teaching is carried out using sign language, photographs, or symbols because the women don't share a common language. Thanks to practice and repetition, the women pick up engineering skills and knowledge to return to their villages to install solar panels and lighting systems. This would be, of course, D. As you can see, this is the continuation. 30 students sit around a wooden table that is covered with electrical components, very similar to engineering. The students are not the teenage boys you might expect. Instead, they're all women, some of whom are illiterate and many of whom are grandmothers. So a continuation of that would be 4. So this would be D. Okay, so the correct order for these is C, B, A, and D. Okay, now that we're done with 2, let's go to number 3. See what we have here. All right, now you probably have a very good idea of the texts now, and you've probably seen or come across a few words that you may not know the meaning of, or you simply don't know what it means. So what we're going to be doing is we have some of these words here, and what I would like us to do is use the correct definition for each one. And if you want to go back to the text, you can do that. You'll notice that, where is it? No. You'll find some words here that are in yellow or highlighted, and these are typically words that you may not know what they mean. And a good way to understand what a word means, or at least kind of try to figure out what it means, is to look at the paragraph, not the paragraph, the line before it and the line after it. Usually, not always, but usually it works pretty well in giving you a good idea of what the word itself means. Okay? So if you have to do that, pause the video, go back to the text, find some of these words, and maybe perhaps try to find the definition after taking a good look at the line before and the line after. Let's start with 1. We have the word illiterate. The word illiterate is, I would say, where is it? For some reason, oh, okay, so I need to move the word, not the definition. I would say someone that is unable to read or write. It is the opposite of literate. So when you're illiterate, you don't know how to read or write. So I'll put this right here. And then we have mentors. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the definitions instead so that it's easier because this exercise is set up a little weird. So let's start with one, the first definition. Experienced teachers who give advice and help. These would be called mentors, okay? They are experienced teachers who give advice and help. Second, unable to read or write. That is someone that is illiterate, okay? And then we have a system of teaching. A system of teaching or a way of teaching is called methodology, you guys, okay? So the way you do things, the way a system is set up in a particular way for teaching is called methodology. The act of doing something again and again and again, this is called repetition. I don't know if any of you are gym rats or like to go to the gym, but you always hear something called do 4 sets of 15 repetitions or 15 reps for short. Basically, that's what repetition means, is doing the movement over and over again. But this time, obviously, it's not a workout movement, but rather could be something related to teaching. So same meaning, that is what repetition means, it's doing something over and over. As quickly or slowly as they want. That is at their own pace. So going how quickly or slowly as you want, that is at your own pace. Help and advice about how to do something, that would be guidance. So when I say my mentor is guiding me, I'm basically translating this to my experienced teacher is helping me and giving me advice on how to do something. So that's guidance. And finally, the ability to use information technology effectively, that is digital literacy. Now, notice how literacy is very similar to the word illiterate. Literacy is how you can use things efficiently and effectively. So if you are digitally illiterate, it means you can't use technology. But if you have digital literacy, you are someone that can use information technology very effectively. Okay? So these were some of the words and what they mean. I hope if you didn't know them before, now it makes a lot more sense. All right. Let's go to the next page. See what we have here. If you could read more of one of the 4 articles in one, which one would you choose and why? Okay, so this is entirely up to you. I would personally choose the first one because I'm a sucker for technology and I think technology will be the future of education. It's already started and it's only going to get bigger from here. We already have universities and colleges and ways to teach yourself that is completely online and completely reliant on technology. So I would enjoy knowing more about the classroom of the future, if you will. Feel free to pick the one that resonates with you the most and perhaps ask yourself why you chose that particular article. Okay. Now let's go to exercise 5. See what we have here. Here we have complete the verb and noun combinations from paragraph 1 to 4 and 2. Read the texts again if necessary. Okay. This is going to be interesting because I'm going to have you pull up the texts again and read for very specific details. So these verb and noun combinations are found in the 4 paragraphs that we took a look at earlier. But what I would like you to do is have the text set up, perhaps on your phone or on your computer, and have a pen and paper, and as you're going through them, try to find the verb and noun combinations. Take your time with this one and look up the very specific details and write them down. And after you're done, come back, we'll go over them together, and I'll even show you where they are in the text. Okay? So let me actually show you the text so you can pause the video and it's easier for you. So this is exercise 2. Here are the texts. Okay? So pause the video here, go over them, go back like a few seconds so you can see the other exercise and read through them. Okay? All right. So I'm going to pretend that you've taken a good look. You've perhaps gotten all the answers, or at the very least, most of them. Now let's go over them together. So we have the verb and noun combinations. How are we going to go about doing this? Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit. And what I ended up doing is I actually wrote the 4 articles in a WordPad so that I make it easier for you guys. So let's take a look at each one. Here we have A. It says dash tasks. So if we go to the second paragraph, it says, those of us who work in traditional schools set our students tasks. So the word that is missing here is set. Okay, so set tasks. Let's go to B. Look up dash. If we go to the first article, right here in the last line, when pupils want to look up information, they do it in an encyclopedia, not on the internet. So the word we're missing is information. Okay? And then C, dash ways to do something. If we go back to second article, right here. In this way, we don't provide opportunities for our students to explore alternative ways to solve problems. Here it says solve problems. Here it says ways to do something. It's very similar. So the word we're missing is explore. Explore ways to do something. And then we have D, dash guidance. Dash guidance would be, right here. In the third text, it says here, instead, the role is to be mentors. They encourage the students to find out answers for themselves and, if necessary, provide guidance. So guidance, the word we're missing is provide. Afterwards, we have sit. Sit, where is sit? Oh, it's right here. Those of us who work in traditional schools set our students tasks and make them sit exams. So the word we're missing is exams. Okay? And then we have, for F, dash questions. Dash questions. Oh, here we go. We don't provide opportunities for our students to explore alternative ways to solve problems. We've already said this. And risk creating a society of unimaginative thinkers. But what if we posed questions that had more than one correct answer? So the word we're missing is posed. Okay? Posed questions. G, pick up. Pick up would be in the fourth paragraph, which is, thanks to practice and repetition, the women pick up engineering skills and knowledge and return to their villages to install solar panels and lighting systems. So we'll say pick up. The words we're missing are engineering skills. Or rather, we don't even have to say engineering. We could just say skills. That works too. So pick up skills. Remember, it doesn't have to be as is as the article, but it does have to make sense. So should be very similar, but not exactly the same. Then we have H. Here we have 2 words. So let's see. Right here. We have a lot of them from the second article, so let's go over it one more time. Those of us who work in traditional schools set our students tasks and make them sit exams, which involve finding and supplying right answers. So here we have answers. The 2 words we're looking for are finding and supplying answers. Okay? So this was exercise 5. These were the words. We have set tasks, look up information, explore ways to do something, provide guidance, sit exams, posed questions, pick up skills, and finding and supplying answers. All right, awesome. Now let's go to exercise 6 because this is related to exercise 5. We want to complete these sentences using the words from 5. So the words that we just used, we'd like to use them to complete these incomplete sentences. So let's start with 1 and see what we have. Miss Ammon doesn't give us many facts or figures. She likes us to look up dash and dash answers to her questions for ourselves. What do you guys think? What word could we use here? That's right. We could say she likes us to look up information and find answers to her questions for ourselves. Again, we changed finding to find, and information was the same. Okay? And then B, our teacher has set lots of revision dash for homework to prepare us for an exam that we will dash tomorrow. For this, let me see. I'd say our teacher has set lots of revision tasks, as you can see here. Remember, set and tasks. So our teacher has set lots of revision tasks for homework to prepare us for an exam that we will dash tomorrow, that we will sit tomorrow. Because remember, when we talked about an exam, it was sit exam. So prepare us for an exam that we will sit tomorrow. At the end of each class, our tutor poses a difficult dash, which we have to discuss in the next class. That would be, I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. This would be questions. Poses a difficult question, just like F, posed questions, which we have to discuss in the next class. And then D, in these lessons, pupils explore dash to solve a problem together, and the teacher's only role is to provide dash if the group gets stuck. I would say in these lessons, pupils explore, explore ways to solve a problem together, and the teacher's only role is to provide guidance. Here you go. Provide guidance if a group gets stuck. All right, so we've completed the missing words from the exercise above. We found information, find, tasks, sit, question, ways, and guidance. Okay, so that was exercise 5 and 6. All right. Before I end this lesson, I'd like to take a quick look at the pronunciation. Or rather, yeah, pronunciation, which we're going to be talking about intonation. Let me actually open this so you guys can get a better idea here. Okay, so I'm going to play this video once, and what I would like you to do is focus on how the speaker pronounces these questions. And after that, I'll tell you what is going on. Okay, so let me play it first. I want you to guess what's going on, and then we'll go over it together. Here we go.
Do you have an exam tomorrow? Yes, I do. When is our next English lesson?
All right, so let me close this. Normally, when we talk in English or we ask questions, the way we sound, how our voice is raised or gone down, explains a lot in a non-figurative way. For example, this probably doesn't make sense right now, but it will soon, I promise. When you have a question or when you ask a question that is answered or could be answered using yes or no, the tone of your voice needs to go up at the end of that question. For example, if I say, do you have an exam tomorrow? Notice how the way I said tomorrow, my voice shot up a little bit. This is my intonation going up. Okay? However, if you have a question that could not be answered with yes or no, instead of your voice going up, your voice actually does the opposite and goes down at the end of the question. So you could say, When is our next English lesson? My intonation goes down. Okay? So they are polar opposites. Remember it this way. If you're asking a question that could be answered using yes or no, your voice goes up towards the end. If your question could not be answered with yes or no and has to be more specific, then your intonation goes down at the end of the question. Okay? So this was the intonation, pronunciation. I just figured I'd give you guys an idea of what that was all about. But this concludes our first part of Unit 1. I hope you learned something new. I hope you had fun. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.